Ladies and gentlemen and Gravit graphic designers, we're going to do tutorial 05. Take these notes right here. We're going to use some basic shapes. You don't have to take that because it's not in red. Write this down here on words. The fill color is the inside color of a path or object. The anchor points have different joint types: straight, mirrored, disconnected, and asymmetric. And you can create compound shapes by adding or subtracting objects. Write that down. All right. Okay, so here's the deal. So you should go to Canvas, go to lesson 5, and when you click on that, it'll take you here. Then click on this, it'll take you over here. And once again, you gotta say, yep, that's not mine. You're gonna go File, Save to Cloud As. You're gonna put in Gravit05 and type in your name, and then hit Enter to save that thing. All right, and so now we're gonna look at this and like, what is this mess right here? Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start off with the basic shapes. So we're gonna go to the ellipse tool. So we're gonna click and drag, and it's like, oh, my happy face is very long. I'm gonna hit Shift to create a perfect circle. Okay, and then I'm gonna move that over here. Okay, and then what we want to do is we want to give it a fill color. And so to give it a fill color, we can, so it's selected already, so we know that we're working with it. So you can work on different things, but we want to select it before you can do anything to it. And so we're going to go to the fill, and we're going to choose a nice happy face color. Okay, and then we're going to click back on this thing. We're going to go to the border, and so let's see if we can get down to the border. So for the border, we're going to give the outside a color. We're going to give it a blue color, and then we're going to also adjust this to 5 and make it thicker. Hit Enter. Okay. So the other way you can do it is just hold your mouse over it and you can drag it up or down. All right, so we've got our happy face. So now we're going to go back to our circle tool. We're going to give it an eye. This particular eye we want to have a different color, so we're going to make it light gray inside. And so we're going to go back to our tool. We're going to give him another eye, but make it lopsided. And now we're going to go to our pen tool, and we're going to give him a happy face. Okay, and then we're going to press the D key. Let me hit undo. So now I'm going to press the D key and click anywhere to deselect. Now I'm going to go to the selection tool. So I'm going to go to the pointer tool. I'm going to select this mouth, and I don't want it to have a fill, and I gave it a fill. So what I can do is I can go to the, it's not in here what I need, so I'm going to click back over here. So I'm going to come to the opacity, and so I'm just going to make it have 0 opacity, which means it's see-through. So there's no color. The other thing I could have done was just given it the same color as a happy face, but I think our best bet is to give it basically no fill color. All right, good. We got the happy face done. If you want to go through and give it different, give each thing a different stroke color, you can do that if you want. Okay, so now let's talk about this thing right here, where this is not what we want at all. So what we're going to do is it's what we want to start with, but we're going to make it look a lot different. So we're going to click on our pen tool, and so we're going to click on our pen tool, and we're going to, actually I'm going to just click on my zoom tool, and I'm going to click on the center mouse button to move that into the center. I'm going to click on my pen tool. I'm going to go click, release, click the mouse button, release, click the mouse button, and click there to finish. And then I'm going to press the D key to click off. Okay, so we want to turn this thing into a heart. Well, how do we do that? So what we can do is we can go to our pointer tool, and we're going to change it to the sub-select tool. And that allows us to select individual anchor points. Okay, so right now I have all the anchor points selected. I want to deal with that anchor point, so I'm going to click again, and so now I have that anchor point selected. All right, so you can see that every anchor point has a different type of joint. So right now, this is a straight joint. But what we're going to do is we're going to change it to be mirrored. And so when it's mirrored, now all of a sudden I have these handles I can adjust, and I can move them. Now, mirrored, you can see they're both working at the same time. When I make this side longer, that handle also gets longer. That control line gets longer. So that's actually not what I want. I'm going to change it to asymmetric, which means I can grab one, but it doesn't affect the other. Okay, so do that. So then I'm going to go back to my sub-select tool. I'm going to click. I'm going to make that one asymmetric, and I'm going to make this heart look how I want. And I can also click and move that thing where I want it. Okay, and then finally, this is kind of boring. So on this one, I'm going to select this one, and on this one, I want it to be disconnected. Let me show you the difference. So if I click on asymmetric, these things are always parallel to one another. Okay, so they're going like in a straight line. But if I click on the disconnect, now I can grab one and the other one doesn't move, so they're not always parallel. So I can finish up my heart, and of course, we've got to change that heart color because everybody knows that hearts are always, no, that's the outside color. So let me click off on that. So everybody knows that hearts on the inside are always a nice shade of peach. Okay, so now we have that. So now let's talk about compound shapes. So we have this thing. You can see it was like two shapes mushed together. And so we're going to learn how to mush shapes together. So we're going to go to our basic shape tool. We're going to go polygon. I'm going to click and drag. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I hate that because it has the wrong number of corners. So I'm going to go to my number of, pardon me, it has the wrong number of points. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to give it more points. Okay, so I give it 9 points. All right, so we're going to go back to this tool. We're going to click and drag. Okay, once again, way wrong number of points. I'm going to go down like that. Okay, so now here's the deal. I want to show you guys something. We're gonna mess around with these a little bit. So I want to show you. Watch what happens on these shapes when I go to my subset tool. Okay, so let's say I want to grab that and move it. So if I click and drag it, look what it does. It does something a little unexpected. It turns into a star because this is a basic shape. Unlike this heart, this is a path we created with the pen tool. This is a shape, and so it's still working like a shape. Okay, so if I want to edit individual points, I'm going to have to go like this. I'm going to have to go modify, move my face, path, and I'm going to have to convert it to a path. Okay, so now it's going to work just like the other one, where if I grab an individual point, I can grab that point and move it where I want. Actually, I'm going to go back, because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to click on, now I'm going to redo it, hold on. Now I'm back. Okay, so I'm going to go to my sub-select thing. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to hit the delete key, and I'm going to delete that anchor point. And actually, I'm going to get rid of all these middle anchor points. I don't really like those. I don't want those for this, what we're doing, because they turn it into a star. So now I can go and I can click this one, and I can just modify my shape. Okay, so now we've got two shapes. I'm going to go to my pointer tool. I'm going to move this whole shape, and I'm going to move this whole shape right there, and I'm going to hit Shift, again with the pointer tool, and I'm going to click on this. So I've selected two shapes. So now I'm going to go to my create compound shape, and there's different things I can do with them. I'm going to unite these. So I'm going to put them together in one shape. Okay, and so you can see I made a shape that looked exactly like that. Well, that was pretty close. It's close enough. And the one thing I just want to point out is when you get your shape like that, if you come down here to your fill, and I change the fill, it's all one thing now. So it works together. All right, so now let's see how we're going to make something crazy like this guy down here. All right, so let's start out. We're going to make this guy. So we're going to start off with our polygon tool. We're going to make our polygon. Okay, we're going to increase the number of points. We're going to use our move tool, and we're going to move it where we want. So let's say right there. Okay, let's start with this guy right here. So we're going to go to our ellipse tool. We're going to click and drag. I'm going to hit Shift to create a perfect circle. And again, if I try to make any changes to it, it's gonna, you can see it doesn't really cut it in half like that. And so what I'm gonna do is, like I did before, I'm gonna have to convert this to a path. So I'm gonna go to modify, path, and I'm gonna convert it to a path. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to make sure I'm on my sub select tool. I'm going to select that anchor point and I'm going to hit delete on the keyboard. Now it left a couple little it left this little thing. It didn't cut it in half. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select that individual anchor point. I'm going to come over here to my joints and I'm going to change this to a disconnected joint. All right, so now I can come down and I'll just drag, I'll just say, yeah, I don't want any sort of curve at all. I'm going to do the same thing to this guy over here. Hey, disconnect a joint. They move independently of one another, and I'm just going to drag it right back there. And so now I have my moon, and so now I'm going to go to my pointer, and I'm going to move the whole, I'm not going to move anchor points, I'm going to move the whole shape. I'm going to hit shift to constrain the proportion, and I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to move it right here. Now I'm going to hit shift and click on these two shapes. And now I'm going to come over here to my create a compound shape and I'm going to subtract. Okay, so now when I go to my pointer tool and I move this, these move together, right? And so you can see that I basically just put a hole in my shape. All right, now let's do the last one. Let's create this beautiful star shape. We're going to come down here. We're going to go to the star. We're going to create this beautiful star. I'm going to move it around a little bit. I'm going to increase the number of, let's see here. I'm going to increase the number of points to, yeah, right there. That's beautiful. Okay, and so now when I go to my sub-select tool, I'm going to make it a little bit more of a dramatic star like that. That's good. Okay, so but now in order to get it like this, I can't round it until I turn it into a path. So I'm going to go modify, move my face. I'm going to go path, and convert to path. Okay, and so now I'm going to go to my sub-select tool, and I'm going to make one of them rounded like this. So I'm going to go to I've got to click on the individual point. So this one I'm going to make mirrored. So this point I'm going to make mirrored. Now I'm going to click on this one. This one I'm going to make disconnected. So this one's going to go here, and then this one's going to go here, and then this one is going to be a asymmetric. So this is going to go far in there. So I want you to try all the different kinds of joints on this one star, and I want to be able to see all of them. So now we're going to go to our pointer. So we'll move that whole shape. We're going to put it right there like this. We're going to put it like that, and then I'm going to hit shift so I can select two things at once, and then I'm going to go back to subtract. Okay, and so now you've got it totally done. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? Doesn't that look beautiful? Okay, it looks beautiful, and so we're going to save our work, and now we're going to turn it in, and so we're going to go File. We're going to say Share File. We're going to, my face gets in the way all the time. We're going to copy it, and then we're going to go to our tutorial. We're going to submit the assignment. We're going to go to the web URL. I'm going to press Control V, submit assignment, and we're done. Yay! Okay, thanks, guys.